do it later.
Hold on, let me go get my eye medicine. I'll be right back. It's my...
All right, I'm gonna play this theme song in the meantime. We are about to go live with Outspoken Bean for our next Invest Like an Artist, like webinar, Zoomy thingy. And we got it integrated with live too. So that's what's up with Facebook Live. So I don't know, like I've been doing it so that I cut the Facebook Live off 15 minutes in, but I think that's a lot of buttons. And I don't want to mess up everything. So I probably won't do that this time around. And maybe that'll be the pattern. So let me see. Turn me up in my headphones. Turn me up in my headphones. All right. Turn me up in my headphones. I got it. I'm about to play this theme music. Roscoe Burnhams, do you know him? Let me see if I can get it pulled up. He did the theme music for Invest Like an Artist at one of our in-person events. There was a poetry slam afterwards. And he did this poem and I was like, that's it. That's it. That's the theme song. Let me get that off you. And he was like, all right. So let me see if I can. Oh, I be hiding stuff from myself on this computer. Downloads. Here we go. Okay, can you hear that? You can hear that?
Yes.
I feel like I should check how it's being piped through.
So you wake up, eat, go to work, eat, go back to work, go home, eat, go to sleep. Team, right? Work, eat, work, home, sleep. Kind of got a little vibe to it. Like, work, eat, work, home, sleep. Hey, 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 work, eat, work, home, sleep. Hey. And don't it make for the perfect trap song? I mean, like, if a caged bird sings and the mouse must freestyle about stacking cheese, stacking bread just to get ahead. What I mean is, I'm in a rat race on a hamster wheel. Meaning, no matter how far I think I'm going, no matter if I'm trying my hardest, it seems like I end up back just where I started, trying to make ends meet in a circle of poverty. And the paragraph says I'm middle class. But when I look at the radius, I only find myself in the middle of a midlife crisis, middle of a financial crisis, middle of my depression, middle of a damn panic attack. Can't even think like that. I gotta go back to working, work, home, sleep. Hey, 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 side note, why do the ends always have to meet? I mean, haven't we done this before? Don't we do this like every week? Haven't the ends met already? Why they leave each other? I mean, when they got amnesia, and why do I have to be the one to introduce them to each other? I'm in this joke like, cash, this is debt, and debt, this is cash. Cash is the one who be bandaging my scars when debt be kicking my ass, but I'm the one punching the clock. So much I feel like a boxer. So it's like every day I'm clicking on the box, or I'm staring at a box, or I'm typing on the box. I go home and take my TV down out the box. I go to my warehouse job where I stack boxes onto a box, and I'm filling box in. We do this all the time, so we end up in a pine box. Time is money, and this job is costing me a lot. Gotta go back to working, work, home, sleep. Hey, 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 working, work, home, sleep. Hey. America sold us a dream just to find out America be the biggest pyramid scheme where the working class are told to pull themselves from rock bottom up. But when you got an entire society stacked on top of you, it's hard to even exercise your rights, let alone pull up. And nowadays, I want to hang myself with these damn bootstraps. I can't think like that. I gotta go back to work, eat, work, home, sleep, work, eat, sleep, fall asleep at work, work till I can't sleep, eat, what's that? I gotta go back to work, eat, sleep, and the song just plays on repeat until you fade out. Working, work, working, work, working, work, working, work.
That's it.
Hey. The grind.
Work, eat, work, home, sleep. We're gonna kick the interview off in about 9 minutes, guys. So if you're tuning in, we are vamping until we get this thing going. That's the outro. I gotta stop that. Okay. Make sure it doesn't play anything else. Have Lizzo bust in. That is going to change the mood. Or Phantom of the Opera. That'll really change the mood. Yep. We're going to kick it off in 10 minutes. We got Outspoken Being here. We're going to talk about pandemic, financial health, pre and post pandemic hustle, and all that. We're going to walk us through some strategies. So, Outspoken Being from Texas.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. How was your day? What you been up to?
Today has been a pampering day, honestly.
Pampering.
Yeah. My girlfriend is in town, and she went and I went and got my hair cut so I can get ready to look like the Panther King. And so,
The Panther King.
Yeah, I went to Prairie View A&M, and we're Panthers, and TSU are Tigers, and I just can't with them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level.
Yeah. I can't do it with them. I can't. It annoys me. Anyway, so, I'm still Joe Exotic or Joe Exotica. I don't know. I'll blackify it later. I'll black it later. You know what I mean? Joey Exotic. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I mean, I feel like that's already like a racially ambiguous name. Like it can go.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm gonna black it up. I'm gonna put it in there.
You're gonna be Javon Exotic.
Maybe something like that. You know what I mean? Jalen Exotic, something. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then my girlfriend was like, I wanted you to get petties with me. I was like, but she typed it. Yeah, she texted. So she was like, I want you to get petties. That's what she said, but I thought it was Pettis. I was like, who is he? I'm dead serious. I texted. I was like, who is he? And she was like, petty, like a pedicure. I was like, oh yeah, I've never got one. She was like, you never got one before? I was like, nah, like I got one in college, but not with a girlfriend. So we went and got them together. And then she went on, she got me the premium package.
Ooh.
Yeah, with the wax on the feet. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. You got to get it turned up. That's a body roll package.
It was live.
That's what's up.
I mean?
Wax on the feet.
Yeah, that wax was hot. Them Asians are something else because they know the wax is hot. And then they're like, they put your foot in it, and they're like, and I respond to it because I don't know it's hot. I respond to it. They're like, oh, too hot. Yes, you know it's hot.
But hold up, just to be clear,
you know it's hot.
You have a guy's body temperature. Y'all have different temperatures than us. We might be colder in room temp, but our showers be 150 degrees, which means that when the wax hits us, we're like, can you turn the temperature? Versus when it hits you, you act like it's hot. But
it's not acting, it's hot. That's why they said, oh, too hot. Like, it's nothing you can do about it other than just keep my foot in there. You know what I mean? And they had it in a plastic bag. They wrapped it up. I took pictures. And then that was dope. And I was like, you know what? I'm looking at my hands. I was like, I can't go out here looking like this.
Oh, yeah.
And then she was like, you want a manicure too? You want a mani? And I was like, I want a manicure. Yes, I do. So I went and got that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
With the wax.
Like a different man, right?
It feels better. It feels better. You know what I mean? They took all that dead skin that I've been, you know what I mean? All that nasty shit, you know? Oh, can I cuss?
Oh, we haven't established rules yet
Can I
about
cuss?
cussing. I think so.
I mean, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I went and got that done, and now like the light be hitting my nails, glisten a little bit. You know what I mean? That's very not Joe Exotic. That's why I gotta blackify it. But yeah, it's good stuff.
So you be watching the reflection across your nails now? You there? That's cool. A mani-pedi will do that to somebody. A mani-pedi will change how you see yourself in the world.
Yo, it helps out. It helps out. I see why it's a $1 billion business. You know?
I feel like when I get my nails done, people will respect me more. And I will talk like this to make sure they know.
I'm gonna cut this hair. I'm gonna cut this hair.
I'm
gonna cut make it more of a mullet. Oh, it's going down.
It's gonna look good. I like it. I like what's happening here.
And then I got a loud shirt. Have you watched? No, you haven't watched it, but I got a loud shirt.
I've seen pictures.
Yeah, you know what he looks like.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
I got the cowboy boots. Yeah. Tomorrow, me and my girl are going to a drag show.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. She loves drag shows.
Are you doing tonight and tomorrow, or just tomorrow?
Well, I've been getting all the costume stuff tonight. So that way tomorrow we just wake up.
Okay. Interview starts in 2 minutes, guys. If you want to jump in.
Hey, 2 minutes. Hey.
2 minutes. That's what's up. You make me want to go get a costume. But
there we go. We should do that. This is my first time like really going all out, except for like in high school.
I didn't really dress up in high school or college, but after college, like I know I was Lieutenant Uhura one year from the original Star Trek.
Okay.
What else? I feel like I've been in costume a few times, but I don't know if it's been related to Halloween. It's been like some random costume parties where I'm dressed as Princess Leia or somebody from Wakanda or whatever.
Okay.
You know.
You know what I mean? Again, I call Prairie View also Wakanda you.
How?
Because we're the Panthers.
Yeah, but isn't that HBCU?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. That's what
Don't ever.
I was about to come all the way for you. I was like, I went through my Rolodex and I was like, y'all ain't on the list.
Yeah, we are. We're on the list. Yeah. Not only on the list, it's the list. No, you didn't.
I don't know. I went to Bowie State University.
Yeah, you did. That's why I remember saying I don't agree. I don't think that one should be one.
What? Time out.
Yeah.
Established in 1865, one of the most pivotal years to establish a
So what? So what? It was established then. Big deal.
Let me get this virtual background out from behind me. Nothing. And I need you to be nice because we got to kick this thing off.
And we're going to do some things.
All right. Here we are. We're back with another episode of Invest Like an Artist podcast. And we're here with Outspoken Bean, who's going to talk to us about pre and post pandemic hustling. What's that you just held up? What's that?
It's my coloring book.
Oh. Oh. Let's see it. Hold it up. Flip through. It's a coloring book he designed. Yo, you drew that?
I did all of this. It's the poetry. And then
I see.
It's when I do my 5-minute poems. Yeah. Out here hustling.
Ooh. So you starting all the way in. You're like, y'all don't need to know nothing about me except for the fact that you can go buy this
at outspokenbean.com. Outspokenbean.com. I don't like Bezos.
Outspokenbean.com. Right.
There we go. Yeah.
Support the regular people, not the billionaires.
Gang. There we go.
Okay. So tell us about yourself. Give us a background. What should we know?
I'm a performance poet. and a producer of experiences.
Did you hear how your voice just changed? When you, yeah, it did change. Everybody else heard it. I just want you to know.
I'm a performance poet and a producer of experiences. I love to introduce people to poetry in different ways and different avenues. I also see myself as a collaborator. So hence, like, you know, poetry coloring book, you know, creating a music festival that's fueled by spoken word and performance poetry. My performance as a whole, right? I try to give people a different experience that they probably wouldn't get from normally. And then, yeah, I'm an educator as well. I go into not traditional, so I'm an unorthodox educator. And I work in community engagement for the nonprofit called Writers in the Schools, where I just run my mouth and hope people want to stay working with us. Yeah.
How'd you end up here? What led you to this place? Yeah.
I don't know. It's a number of things, but the abridged version is Poetry Slam is like the main answer, right? So Poetry Slam is, you know, competitive poetry. Right, it's competitive poetry. So Poetry Slam is what I started doing. I started doing that in college, and I was blown away by it. It reminded me of rap battling, which I did too as well before that. My brother is the one that got me into writing. My late brother is the one that got me into writing in the first place. And yeah, so when I started doing poetry and then I found out about Poetry Slam, I started the slam team at Prairie View A&M, the first HBCU to have a slam team. And then we went to nationals.
How did this happen?
2008. Yeah. Well, and actually, it's technically not true because TSU also went that same year, but they did so terribly. So, yo, man, the victors go to spoils. And so, but no, yeah. In 2008, HBCU, there was no HBCUs competing on a collegiate level. Now there's a bunch, which is awesome. And
CUPSI.
CUPSI, that's right, CUPSI. And then when I graduated from college, I started coaching the youth poetry slam team, which is called Metaphor Houston, and it was tiny, and then a larger organization 5 years later took that up, brought me on. A bunch of I just kept saying yes to these different things. And all within that, I was touring my original work. I wrote a one-man show, toured that for a little bit. Went to a lot of colleges, not all of them, but there's a lot of colleges in the U.S.
To all the colleges.
Not all of them. I know people who have. But yeah,
it's impossible. Nobody can go to all the colleges.
Asia, I would say Asia Sampson has hit about.
I think that's his goal. I think his goal is to hit every college.
But I think he has though, because I mean, like, you know, every year he gets like.
Has he been to Bowie State University?
I don't know. You would have to ask him or them.
Have to ask
but
him.
I would not.
Have you been
doubt that.
to Bowie State University? Okay, no, next on the list.
Yo, let's hit me up. I would love to go. But you know, I've talked to him quite a bit about it because it's fascinating to me what he's been able to do.
So your journey has primarily been in the writing world. When you were in college, what'd you major in? Theater. So writing and performance has always been your bag.
Yeah. But I didn't really like it in the performance way. I theater, and then I did sound engineering as a minor. And even when I was in high school, I went to a magnet school called NISA, Northeast School of the Arts in San Antonio. And I was doing sound, technical theater, sound, building sets, building sound design. I loved that. And then also in that mindset, I was kind of music focused, but I really loved like scores. I still love scores. I still love like storytelling without voice type of thing. And Storytelling without words is really, it's fascinating to me. And so that's what I thought I was going to be doing, but I don't know, I got bit by this bug and it hasn't let go.
Nice.
So here I am.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hopefully more to come. I love it. Yeah, it's really cool and it's really fun. And I love working. Again, I love collaborating.
You sound busy. You sound like
I try to stay busy. Yeah, I try to.
You keep things moving. So
thanks.
When you and I were talking pre this, I'm going to say pre-production so we can sound like fancy, though I don't know what that means. When we were talking about this, you were talking about the kind of portfolio career you built, but also the things that you do outside of your portfolio career to build income. So you have income streams that are within writing and performance and theater, and then you have income streams outside of writing, performance, and theater. And I think this is interesting. So can you talk to us about like maybe why you chose to approach your income in that way and what kind of value it brought to you?
Well, because when I have lows, it's peaks and valleys with this kind of work I do. And I was smart enough to create a constant income through Writers in the Schools. Writers in the Schools had me as their coach, and then they put me on part-time as salary. And so that's 2 paychecks. And then I would teach, like going to schools during the day. That's 3 paychecks. And then they would send me to travel around the country on their behalf. That's 4. So I would get paid 4 paychecks. And still had enough time to myself to do the things that I wanted to do as well. And it was, I mean, to some people be like, how can you maintain that? But for me, it was fine. But in 2018, like near the end of 2018, I was like, if I can have income that is just coming, which my mom is always talking to me about it, but both of my parents are entrepreneurs, but my mom in particular, she was like, you need to figure out a way to do like a passive income that just comes without you doing it. And so,
hold on just 1 second. Whenever you move around, your mic hits your collar and it creates this rubbing noise.
Yeah, sorry about that. So my mom said, like, you need to create like an income that's just coming and you don't have to do much work for it.
Right.
I was like, okay. And I agreed with her. And at that time I had a roommate and I wound up getting rid of that roommate and I started doing Airbnb out of my house. And, it made me clean more. I'm like,
ain't that the truth?
I mean, I was clean. I was way better than what I was before, but because it was like cleaning on their standard, right? I wasn't hotel standard clean, right? And so it got me to that level. And then it got me to a point where I would like when you met me, 2019, when you met me, I was there for that weekend. I had that weekend and that following week, I had booked up at my whole house.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Then the dates that you were traveling for your jobs, you booked those out to make more money. So while you travel, someone else is paying for your travel and someone else is paying for your mortgage.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. And my goal, I don't have a mortgage yet, but my goal was to.
So this is an apartment.
This is it's a house. I'm renting a house.
This is a house that you don't own. My first Airbnb was a condo that I did not own. They caught me and I went through this whole, I'll never let a man tell me how I can make my money. But the bug was already, the seed was planted.
It's too late.
It was too easy to make that.
It's too late.
People needed a place to stay. Yeah.
It's too late. And my landlords, they found out, but they just didn't care. And I actually talked to my landlord This is all BC, pre-COVID, right? This is all BC. All right. So I did talk to my landlord about buying this house because it's actually a duplex. Houston doesn't have a lot of duplexes. There's not a lot of them here. And so my goal is like, yo, I would love to buy this. And then I live on one side, rent out either Airbnb or rent out the other side. And then there's a shed in the back. I can make that like an office. So I have like plans for this. So, but you know, I'm working towards that, and I'm able to save better than I ever had before. I was in a good position. I was in a good position where money was coming in that I didn't have to think about, you know, like, you know, and Airbnb. And also another thing that I like is that with Airbnb, like, I don't have to have the awkward conversation of, hey man, I need the money.
Oh my gosh. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the money is already taken out of your account.
Yeah, everyone's happy.
Right. I get my money
You know what I mean?
the day after you get here.
Yeah, the day after you get here. And I started doing long-term stuff, and and then and Airbnb's, you know, like they would try to do it like X amount of dollars. I was like, no, let's move it up. And so what I wind up doing is me moving up my price per day for long-term. I got better quality people, I found. And that would be cool. And I like, so I know some people when they travel, they don't want to talk to people. They don't want the person there. When I travel, I want the person there. I want to stay. I want to talk. What's up? What y'all doing?
You be waiting in the living room like, y'all done yet?
Yeah. I purposely. I mean, you know, my girlfriend had never done Airbnb until we started dating, and so with her, we get places by ourselves. But I'm like, when I travel by myself, I get it with the people there because I love interacting. And so I was that kind of person with them. And I mean, it wind up being great. Like people, I had people from India. I had a lot of people staying with me from India for some reason. And he would cook every night.
All right.
I'm like, great. I do, yo, man, you know what I'm allergic to? What you got? Yo, man,
I love it.
Yeah.
The guys at Bigger Pockets call this house hacking. They call it house hacking.
Yeah.
And it came about, I think, like Airbnb wasn't the first. They have this website called couchsurfing.com.
Couchsurfing. Yeah. I remember couchsurfing.
I used to couchsurf a lot. And it was fun.
Too. Yeah, I did couchsurfing too.
How is nobody killing you and stealing your stuff or whatever? And it's like,
well, and also because no one wants them bad reviews because you still need to use it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I used to do couchsurfing. I traveled, but you know, I started. I would do things where, I mean, now I look at it, I'm like, I won't do it now because I'm like, I'm gonna use that money. I'll just charge more. But I would charge the school, right, wherever I'm traveling to, like the fee to buy a place, because a lot of them wouldn't book it, but they would put the fee in there, and I would just couch surf.
Yeah. I would
just couch surf. Yeah. Or I would see if I, through Poetry Slam, I knew a lot of people from around the country. I'll just stay with people who I knew, and then get another booking, get another like smaller gig. But the large ones are like the anchors that would bring me there and stuff like that. But so all these different things coming in, and then also like my regular practice of like just constant bookings and seminars, like such as like Fresh Arts booking me for certain stuff. I'm on the TCA, Texas Commission of the Arts roster. I get bookings from that. So I constantly got a lot of different things where I was fine. I was financially fine. But what was putting me over the top was Airbnb. You know what I mean? I was able to like actually like not even use that money. Lo and behold, I wind up having to use it.
Good job, emergency fund.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, but it's because I had to use it because COVID.
Right. You had it you had it stacked
I had it
up,
to use. Yeah.
Ready to go.
And it wasn't where I wanted it to be, but it was a good goose egg.
Right.
And then And then I had to make an omelet.
So then let's talk about the omelet times. Let's talk about this transition into a mostly virtual world as a performance artist and how you're managing that.
Okay. I mean, waiting on people to hit me up. Waiting on people to hit me up. I've been blessed that I've had some really cool projects, like Stages Repertory Theater hit me up out of the blue, wanting me to do my one-man show. It didn't pay me as much as I would have normally made, but it was great. I got great footage out of it. Yeah, it was awesome. And I'm gonna use that to present in other spaces. Holla at your boy.
Yes.
And use it because, you know, I got like quality, and I'll send it to you. I got like quality like footage from it, and it was a great show, and it also gave me an opportunity to, to hire my friends, hire people who I wanted to work. My homegirl Candace DeMeza, I made her the director. My boy, one of my best friends, Brian Ely, he did the lighting. The guy that does my music for almost everything I do, Russell, he did the soundtrack. Like I wind up being able to hire people who I was like, yo, if I could create a one-man show again, who would I bring on? And I was able to. And that was, but you know, I didn't go asking. They had this opportunity and they came to me, and I maximized it at that moment as much as I could. I also used that as an opportunity to put out my coloring book. I was like, okay, my coloring book can lead into that. And so it was like an event, and I got Stages. Before you could purchase the free ticket, you had the option of a pop-up of like, hey, you want to buy the book? Yeah. And they didn't charge me, fortunately. And so, you know, it was just things of like, okay, here's what I have going. How can I marry this? Boom. And so that's how this is going. That's how this is going.
Right.
And so, you know, I did some stuff with Rice University, the Moody Center. I have something coming down the pipeline with the Manil as well. But all of these things is like they contacted me because I'm not as active as I would like to be. I'm not as consistent on social media as I like to be because it's a job. It's a job.
It is a full-time job.
It's a job. But you know, I do put things out, and I am constant. And another thing that helped a lot is I applied for an SBA grant. I mean, an SBA loan, and I got it. And so this has helped my business kind of stay afloat. I'm about to order some more books because I have that loan. And paying it back is like $25 a month.
A month. It's crazy.
Yeah. Next year, starting next year. So it's like, it's too easy.
Yeah.
It's not too easy. That's a lie. But I'm blessed that I'm able to do this.
Well, there is some kind of ease to it because these people are reaching out to you. These entities are reaching out to you, which means that you have an established relationship with them. So
for sure, yeah.
Then my question is, how did you build relationships with these entities?
You know, being in Houston. So a lot of these entities, all of these are Houston based. I mean, I've worked with almost every organization in Houston that's here, about almost every single one of them. And I'm pretty well known in the city. I am trying to expand it outside of the city, but I'm pretty well known. Not too shabby out here. A little bit famous. but also like, yo, when I work with people, I do a good job, and I'm not an a-hole. You know what I'm saying? Like, and people remember if you were or if you weren't an a-hole. They remember them both, and that is a cost. That's a mental cost to if they want to do a future investment later.
Yes.
You know, what does it say in Artist Inc?
I'm trying to remember that's what it is.
Be a good egg.
Yeah.
Everything's an egg, huh? But like, but yeah, like it's people like working with me.
Mm.
And I like working with people. I see myself as a collaborator. And you know, there's I do want to get out to a wider audience, and I feel that social media is that. I plan on like hiring help. I'm actually hiring a new manager to help with that, to help me and my assistant. But you know, these are things where it's just like, how did I get them? I mean, it's been 10 years being in the same city, working, being visible. And when I work with people, I do a really good job. Something that they're proud of, that they rave and that they want to bring me back, or they put in the back of their mind to be like, yo, we're going to work with Bean, right? For instance, like with stages, when I had my first one man show, I approached them and they're like, no, that's not what we do. And that's true. They don't do that. They don't do like brand new work that hasn't been, you know what I mean? Like that's not what they do, you know? 25-year-old Bean was like, this is why I can't get in there. 25-year-old Bean was like, man, this is bullshit. They're not giving me a chance.
Right.
34-year-old Bean is like, yeah, you're right, they're not.
Really different.
You know, a lot of things, if I have to go back to myself, a lot of things that are cause for ease has to be earned, and I hadn't earned it. And you know, like things that I see as ease has to be earned. Ease is earned, and so to work for that ease, you know what I mean. To work for that ease, you need to work for it, and then you earn it later. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel.
You got to put some good work and some good time in it over time, over consistency. Yeah, then you earn the ease that you see other people have. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, but it's not ease, right? Even like when I think about Toby and Inigwe, like the work that he put into social media, that was work, and not everyone can do it, and be consistent.
Right.
Consistency, you know what I mean? Like I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him, but that's work. That is work.
Consistency separates everybody, I think.
Oh,
it's very easy to sprint.
Tenacity. Yeah, tenacity, right? I wouldn't say mentor, but he was my teacher for theater. He was over the theater department, C. Lee Turner. He was the one that was talking about, he was like, everyone talks about training and tenacity. I mean, training and talent, you know what I mean? But tenacity is what matters. That's why, and he was he was old when I was there, you know? He's still alive, but he was old when I was there, and he was like, that's why all these rappers suck, because they're tenacity.
One of those. I love HBCUs.
Yeah, it was like all these rappers you see on BET Uncut, they got tenacity. But he was right. He was absolutely right. There is that tenacity will separate everyone, you know? Like you could be trained really hard, you could have the talent. I think training separates it too, but tenacity more so.
I want to separate tenacity from struggle, because I think a lot of people honor struggle in ways that they choose struggle when they don't have to. You know, they choose to make things hard on themselves, when it's like, I just want to point out, you don't have to make things hard on yourself. You just have to be tenacious through the process of building your career, your portfolio, your financial portfolio.
Oh, yeah.
Don't increase your struggle for no reason. But yeah. How did you know that you were at the point where you needed to hire a manager and an assistant?
Well, my assistant came to me. She came to me and she was like, she just always would help me with stuff. I met her when I was teaching. I was at her high school when she, like almost 10 years ago, I was at her high school. I performed. She was a fan, and then she just was a fan. And then in 2017, she was like, hey, I want to help you. Like I was putting together my festival, and Sam's always been there. you know, and Sam is like has a lot of connections on the up, but you know, and I needed help. I needed help, and so I would hire her, and I would pay her when I can, kind of thing. And my goal is to like pay her consistently. That is a goal. But this time around, I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, I need someone to go get stuff for me and bring it back.
Right.
And she just can't do it right now. And so, you know, I'm going to hire someone else who came to me and like, hey, I think you need some management. And I was like, well, you know, I think so too. She was like, I met your manager, but I think you need management. And I was like, yeah, she calls herself a manager. She's more of an assistant, but like, yo, like, let's talk. And then that person said, well, here's some people I've worked with. And I knew two of them, and I called those two people, and both of them spoke highly. One of them, they both stopped working with her for different reasons. But the thing that they both said was like, she's going to bring so much work to you. It's a lot. And it can seem overwhelming if you're not used to that. I was like, well, that's what I want. Bring it here. And I'll say no to whatever. But like, yo, bring it in. You know what I mean? But they both said that she's tenacious. And that she thinks of things that other people don't think about on your behalf. And honestly, you know, I was talking to my homegirl Candace about you know, the business side of my career, of like, I can't really afford this person, but I can if I make a pretty serious investment. And I was like, you know what, I think I'm gonna do it.
So you get her by retainer and not percentage?
Yeah, no, and
percentage.
So yeah, and so that retainer was like, the retainer was what was like, it's what is, but I mean, I went on and agreed to it, but I was like, you know, and we talked about like what that would mean and like the pricing of it, and yeah, so, you know, I've written some grants. Hopefully I get them. If not, I mean, I still got it.
Yeah.
But it's still like, yeah, it's like, you know, it's a retainer and then a percentage. And she only takes on 3 clients at a time. I would be number 3. And also, like, I've seen her work. You know, I've seen her work. I didn't realize the work that she did and I've done. I didn't realize that was her until it's not even I talked to her about it. I talked to the other artists who she had represented. And I'm like, you know, yo, I need this change. While I'm still in this position to not have to, because I only do 15 hours a week on salary writers in the schools, while I have all this time still. So make this investment into myself.
Why? Well, you said that the manager came to you. My question is, I never thought about a manager, because people in my world always talk about agents, right?
Yeah.
How to get an agent. And
yeah, me too.
They always talk about how agents want fiction writers. They don't really want poets. Go ahead and publish your own first book. And then maybe for the second book, you might kind of maybe be able to get a meeting. But managers could be the real strategic workaround to that whole system.
Maybe, yeah. I need someone that's going to be a bulldog. You know, one thing I don't like is I was like, all right, what about if I have a lot of connections. What if I meet someone and they don't, and you didn't get them? And she was like, I mean, it would be a lower percentage, but they got to come to me. And I think I don't like that, but
she's going to negotiate on your behalf, right?
Yeah, and there has to be a precedent.
Right.
Like an accessibility precedent. You know,
and she, as the gatekeeper, she'll keep that
as a
hookup
gatekeeper,
mentality away from you.
as a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't come over
Yeah.
here with that hookup mentality.
Yeah, because she doesn't have that. And you know, and I've been the bulldog. I've been the bulldog. People don't like when you have to be the bulldog for your money. It can put a bad taste in presenters' mouths. Even though I did a great job, I did good, I killed it, we sold tickets, all of that, but they need to separate it.
When you were your own bulldog,
Yeah.
did you
at times I'm still my own bulldog. Right now I essentially am. But I'm talking about there's been times when it was like, yo, like they wanted to breach the contract, didn't want to pay, and I didn't have a manager. I was my manager. And I didn't get those bookings again. Because because it's not separate. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you're not talking to Michael Jackson. You're not talking to no one is now. But you're not. Sorry. It's over 10 years. Calm down.
Sorry, I still need time.
How much time you need? But for real though, right? Whoever you're a fan of and they're on TV regularly, you're not talking to them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they don't even know what their price is. I don't want to know my price either.
I want to know all the numbers, but okay, yeah.
I mean, I do want to know my numbers, but it is good to like, because again, another thing, like, so yeah, like that affects future bookings, repeat bookings. It could affect repeat bookings, I found. Also, that creativity that goes into trying to figure out a negotiated price where everyone is happy, that creativity I put into that can go into, that's creativity that's now not going into writing poetry.
Yeah.
Or coming up with a new show or developing something, blah, 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 right? Like, you know, and that's a cost. That's a creative cost that goes into that. So yeah, I'm making more money is coming out to me, but I do think I've lost money. I do think I've lost money. And I mean, she's put me in a position on like a small little sponsorship thing. And she even told me, she was like, yeah, I'm working on it. It's not a priority because you're not a client of mine, but I am working on it. That's real. I can respect that. I can respect that. She's like, yeah, I am working on it. I told you about it, but you're not a client of mine.
Right.
Well,
there's something to say for having the person who, the difference between you doing the job and wearing all the hats versus the person who actually loves the job and does it well and has all the
she loves it.
And
she loves that. She loves that.
It's worth the cost. Like, let them do the job. Yeah.
It's worth the cost. And I can do it. I do think it's important for artists to know what it is. To know, so that way you don't get screwed over. I think that's important, right? And the business part, I think I've done some dues with that already. But no, like, yo, I'm again, I've never paid a retainer before. I'm about to.
Yeah, I've paid them, but not to a manager. Like attorneys ask for them, CPAs,
yeah, that's true.
Investment brokers, you know,
that's true. They ask that. They do ask that. You're right.
I want a manager now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Think about,
I'm waiting
I run
on
the
her
watering
proposal.
hole.
That's pretty much it.
I run the watering hole, and I also run my own creative career. And we have been trying, my partner and I, and sometimes our small team when we have it, we have been trying to figure out a booking system for the poets in our collective. And the reality is, if we have to build it ourselves, it's never going to be built because we're already building the umbrella for the org, right?
Right.
But you just came through and you're like, oh, well, Candace, get a manager. I bet your manager can book you and her and all the tribe and wherever.
Maybe. Yeah. Why not? Why not? I mean, like, you know, the thing, she was word, but she was like, I've never done anything with poetry. But again, it's like also people need to know what you can do. You know, I'm a collaborator, so I've done a whole kind of things, and I think you should look into it. See if someone's doing it. And you know, I'm here for I'm here for the story of the come up. You know, I am like to someone that's scrappy, but you know, like with Sam, and I'm still gonna work with Sam, but with her, her mom got sick. She wound up losing her job. She had to pick up. She wound up getting another job. Like, life hit hard. Life is a hell of a boxer, and so like, you know, what I need from her, she couldn't provide.
Right.
She couldn't provide, but what she can do is like, my website is fire. She made it. I'm gonna pay her for it. I've paid her for it, and I'm gonna pay more for it because I love it. I love it. I think it's amazing, you know, and I want her to still do that. I still want her to, you know, I want to get to a point where I can tell her. I would love to get to a point where I can tell her like, yo, quit your job. I would love to quit your job. You don't want to do it. Just tell me what to do. Where am I going? That's what I would love to get to. I would love to get there. I'm not there yet. Yeah. And she still got big girl bills, adult bills out here. We all do.
Yeah.
I would love for her to be one of my bills.
I love it.
Yeah.
So your strategy shifted when the pandemic hit. You had to play some jazz. You had to rely on connections.
Some jazz.
Improvise. You got to improvise.
Yeah.
Tap dances. Yeah. But you had to, you know, you saw the value. If you didn't before, you definitely saw the value in previous relationships. And then writing grants, and then building your team in a different way than the way.
Well, and I'm still building it. That's right. And I'm still building it. And the grants I wrote aren't the same grants I wrote in at the end of 2016 into 2017. It's not the same grants, right?
Good.
But these were, I started realizing that there was just a lot of like sympathy grants for artists. Yes, I lost money.
Yes.
And like, you know, like I got one from Andy Warhol. I got two from the city of Houston. I got another one from Mid America Arts. I got one. I got a few, but you know, and also going through my savings. And then I had got a grant. I had won a grant from Texas Commission of the Arts in 2019 to be a touring artist. And I was working on that to be a touring artist in like the rural part of Texas. And they wind up giving me that money without having to do it because of the pandemic. Right. So that was awesome. But you know, that I'm a little salty with my anyway. Like I wind up not being able to use that money because I had some other bills I had to pay for. Right. Anyway, but that's playing jazz. And then, but I was still behind, even though I was getting all these different things. I was lucky through this whole time. I had my job, but I remember I was getting paid 4 different ways. So those other 3, the traveling, gone. The traveling is gone. What was the second one? Teaching. I stopped teaching. I just kind of took back, and coaching gone. So now I'm just getting paid $15. That's not enough to sustain on. But so, and so I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So, you know, I was just thankful that I would get $100 here, $50 here to do this seminar. And then the money that would come in from the grant. all of my Airbnbs that I had planned. I had Airbnbs up until August and March. Yeah, in March, February, March, I had Airbnb
Bookings.
full months, 2 months, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Up until August. Like that, they were gone.
Yeah.
All in one day.
Because it's a shared space
March
and not
13th. March 13th. I mean, March 15th. I lost them all one day.
I've heard that about people who have shared spaces versus having just giving the family or whoever the entire home.
Yeah. Or people would be like, oh, I want the whole home. And then they would negotiate. They're like, it says it's this much, but can you do it for this much? And I'm like, first off, no.
Yeah.
And I can't take you. So then I had to change some things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started helping some close friends. So now I'm not doing Airbnb at all. But yeah, I had to play jazz, and I'm still playing jazz. But I also I had to see, like, what can I do? What can I control right now? And the grants that I'm writing now are like, like I said, I call them sympathy grants, but like, artist sympathy grants. Whereas in 2016 into 17, that year and some change, I was writing every grant for project-based.
How'd you learn how to write grants?
I mean, first off, like, I'm not writing grants for like an organization, so it's a lot different, right? But when I write grants, I'm pretty selfish. I'm writing about stuff I want to do. Yeah.
Yes. Do not write grants for things you don't really want to do just to get the money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I want to. Yeah. Whereas, like, I don't consider myself a grant writer. That's why I'm saying that, right?
Oh, okay.
As a professional, I don't see myself as that. But and so let's back up. Like in 2011, there was a time where writers in the schools. Have you heard of Diverse Works here in Houston? Okay. It's an arts organization, still around. Love them. Diverse Works, they pretty much booked me. I mean, they pretty much had me come into their office. They didn't pay me. My mentor, my other mentor at the time, Sixto Wagon, he was the performance curator for Diverse Works. And he was also he was the liaison for me, Metaphor Houston, and the founder of Metaphor Houston, who was Shannon, but she had careers, married, had her own things. So I was pretty much the person running Metaphor Houston, the youth poetry slam team. And he was like, well, come into the office and just learn nonprofit world, right? I would just come in every day and just sit and just listen. And he would just yell at me, tell me things, and I'll just like help out when I can, every single day. Not getting paid. Not getting paid at all. Not getting paid. But learning a lot. I was learning a lot. And I wrote one grant with Houston Arts Alliance through Shannon Bugs, the founder of Metaphor. And we got that one. That was for $7,000. That was cool. And they pretty much just gave me the money. But the other thing that I did, or that I learned, was, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's my jam.
I'm so sorry. Where was I?
So you were working there.
I was working there, and he was like, "Hey, you need to just start looking up grants." Because I was literally not doing anything. I would just talk to the PR agent. They had a PR person, and I would just talk to people. And he was like, "No, what you need to do is start looking for grants. Use your Google. Start looking for grants for Metaphor Houston."
Use
like,
your
I don't
Google,
know.
not pay for some system that just start with Google.
And he was like, "You need to start looking."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know how to write a grant." He was like, "Do you know how to write?" I was like, and I was a little insecure with writing grants because I'm dyslexic, I'm dysgraphic, I had all these insecurities, and he was like, and I told him that, and he was like, "Well, none of us are gonna do it for you."
Yeah, that's the truth.
And so I started just looking. The first grant I wrote that I did not get was a Target. It was a Target grant. It was like for $2,500. Target like in school grant, something like that. We did not get it. I wrote about like within like a semester's time. I wrote about like 7 grants, including the one with I wrote with Shannon. I wrote about 7 of them.
Did you get any?
I got one. The one that I pretty much didn't write, which was the one that Shannon got. yeah. I wrote, well, maybe I think 7 is lowball. I wrote a lot of them.
It takes practice.
Yeah. That's essentially what I was doing. And he was like, "Listen, like, you." And then when I got that grant, he was like, "We can pay you from this." I was like, "Cool." So he was like, "And it was your money anyway. Like, we'll pay you from that." And this was all outside of the summer from coaching. I wasn't coaching the youth team. This was in the fall, from the fall into the spring, that whole time. And and then this was also after me working at what's that place called? This is also after me working at House of Blues. I worked at House of Blues right when I graduated. Shannon did get me a teaching gig through Metaphor Houston. I would do that, but other than that, I had no real income coming in. By the time I started working at Sixto, the teaching gig money had dried up. I wasn't really working at House of Blues anymore, and then I had nothing really, and so fast forward to 2016, I'm going through something really personal at that time, and I was like, let me write this grant. Let me write a grant for this festival. I had this idea for a festival, for like the Plus Fest. I had this idea, and I wrote it, and I got it. I had applied for that grant before in the past. I got that one, and then I got like the next 3 I wrote, I got. And one of them being an NEA grant through the city of Houston. And so, but it was, but I wrote a lot of grants. I wrote a lot of grants in a short amount of time because I can do that. And I would get them edited. I had a schedule of like how to do it, but I didn't get a lot of them, but I got like 3. and that's great.
The ones that you get, it's a numbers game. It's like
it's a numbers.
You just gotta shoot your shots. Shoot.
Yeah,
see how many you can make. Like if we sit and think about how many shots Steph Curry, well, maybe not Steph, but somebody else.
But before he got to that point,
right.
It's 50%, over 50% is high. In the NBA.
Yeah, from the field. So there you go. It's like shoot for 50%. In any place else, 50%. No, I'm not going to say that. In school, 50% means failing.
It's failure. Yeah.
In life, if you are winning 50% of the time, you are winning.
Phenom. That's a phenom.
Yes. It's so strange how that's the case, but it is.
Because that should be the case. That should be the case, right?
Yeah, I mean.
And imagine there's always a learning curve in failure.
Yeah.
you know. And I think outside of life, we actually do think about that, but school doesn't. School doesn't really doesn't do that. It's not built for that.
You got to be perfect 90% of the time to be valuable in school.
Yeah, because it's like a competitive thing, right? It's a competitive thing.
It's a
There's
ranking
funding is
system.
attached. It's ranking. It's like funding attached to it. That's the real problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole other things. But yeah, like I wind up getting a lot. And so, you know, I stopped writing grants and started doing other projects and really started focusing on other stuff and building my consistency. Yeah. So
sorry, my eyes just itching. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, no, gotta get you some medicine.
Okay. Yeah. So refocus. Occasionally I have allergies, but I don't know how and when it just happens.
Mine is always during this month, October, November. They kill me. They come for me. They come for my eyes for sure.
So here we go. So if you had to give an emerging performance artist some rules to thrive by, what would they be?
Learn another skill. Learn another skill that will enhance your skill. You know what I mean? Whatever your talent is, learn another skill that can enhance your talent, right? So one, like I just said, like writing grants, I know how to do it.
But even before then, you were you were a sound tech who learned to perform, a performance person who learned to write poetry, a poet who learned to write grants.
And all of those are forms. That's right. Yeah. And all of those are forms of like investment into self, right? I'm a huge proponent of that. Yeah. And I wanted to say component. And like you need to invest into yourself. Invest in for a while I was investing into myself through travel. I would travel somewhere, do a residency and like from 2011 till 2014, I would travel somewhere through a residency. And that stuff brought me stuff later. It still does. I built relationships from those. And I think I just think it's mad important to be able to, I think it's just mad important for you to be able to work within, to know what your expertise is, but you have a tool base of other things that can help propone it. So that's it.
Learn a new skill.
Develop it. Develop a skill that can help you even in yours, in what you're already doing. And that can help your talent. Learn, polish a skill that can help you with your talent. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Any other rules to thrive by?
Yeah, invest into yourself.
Okay, those two.
Yeah, invest into yourself, and that can be through travel. That can be through That can be through management. Financially.
And I do want to say, when you say traveling with a residency, for people who don't know what that means that you applied somewhere where they are wanting to bring in artists and they pay your way and they possibly pay you a stipend for being there. And then, or they
not, but it can still be investment. You know what I mean? Like I saw that as an investment into myself when I went to Watering Hole last year. That's an investment in myself. It's an investment to my writing.
Shout out to the Watering Hole, twhpoetry.org.
There we go.
So when you're thinking about like giving advice on a financial strategy for other people, like what would you say your strategy is?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, it seems like things come together for you, but
don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm not going to say that, because it in some places it sounds very passive, and in some places you are bulldogging your way through writing grants, through sitting in an office and just sitting there until you learn something new that day, and just like really booking yourself in other places. Like there are places where you are really working for it, and then you are receiving residuals through work you have done previously. So it feels
Right.
like things are just happening for you. So I'm not trying to undercut
I see what you
the
mean.
real work.
Yeah. I see what you mean now. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I agree with that.
But
I agree with that.
so if you had to give somebody something, one thing they could do today, and then one thing they could do this week to help build this a better financial situation for themselves.
Research. I would say research ways for income to be passive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like to me, my mom is like, she wants me to do real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's not passive.
It's not. Even
It's not passive.
Airbnbs, they are semi-passive, but they are not passive. You have to keep that
but
place
it was
clean.
a low bar for me. I can read it.
Right.
And the reward was high.
Right. Absolutely.
The reward was really high, actually.
You're gonna pay me X amount of dollars, and all I have to do is clean up after myself. I could do that.
I can do that.
I can do that. I'm
I can
supposed
do
to do
that
that anyway.
I should do that anyway, but now I don't want a bad review that I didn't.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So what's something that you can tell somebody, like, give this a try, other than research, or researching passive income, and you're saying that real estate is not fully passive.
What is
your mom
not
asking you to do in real estate is the question.
Oh my gosh, she wants me to get my real estate license.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she wants me to get my real estate license because she got it and she's really good at it. She also wants me to go into the Army. It's a lot of things.
You are too old to go in the Army now. They won't take you.
No, I'm not. No, they lifted it. They lifted it. No, they lifted it. They lifted it to the 40s.
Oh.
Yeah. They lifted it to 42.
How are you gonna tell a 40-year-old what to do?
A 40-year-old that needs the money.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mm-hmm. A lot of young people aren't going.
But even if we're thinking about this kind of advice, this is the kind of advice that artists receive across the board when they're coming up, especially people of color. And the advice is
because of stability.
Get you a good job and get you a good government job if you can.
Yeah. And stay there and just stay there.
Yeah. Stay there, retire, and then
you set.
You have Social Security, you have 401k.
Yeah, but the way things are looking from that generation, by mind you, it's
right.
That generation's fault on why things ain't. Anyway,
Social Security may not work out for us. 401k
it may not work out.
Yeah,
it may not work out
because
of that generation.
Yeah,
I want to put pressure.
I see. You got that's pressure.
yo, because of the boomer generation, right? Anyway, but no, yeah, and I get it, and I understand that logic. But I don't know. Like I also don't put a lot of stock into age. Especially I'm a writer and I'm trying to figure like this book, I printed it myself. I'm proud of it. I'm getting more printed myself. And I plan on getting published by a publisher, right? But I'm proud of this and trying to figure this out and work on it. But you want something that I can tell somebody that is tangible.
You're saying no, research passive income streams. I think I had to work my way back to that idea and just hold on to it for a second, because I think that is great advice. Like,
and because I'm doing it again now too, right? About two years ago, I opened a Stash. I downloaded Stash on my phone, and I downloaded it on my phone, and I set it up to I left big banks. That's another thing you can do. Leave big banks. I left
don't say
the America one, and I got with a small. My business is with a Black-owned bank here in Houston, and my personal is with a credit union. And I said it took a little harder to set up my credit union to it, But every 2 weeks, $10 comes out of it and goes into stash, right? I forgot about it. And so now all this time has gone by, and my dad was talking to me about stash, and because he uses it, and I actually never took the time to like learn how to use it. And I've had people talk to me about them, and I was like, oh, I got money coming out of it, but I'm not worried about it. I mean, it's close to $2,000 in my stash account that if I want to cash it out, I can.
Nice.
But I was like, well, it's there.
Yeah, you stashed it away.
Let me use it. And so now I'm like, and now I see how people get addicted to it. It's kind of, they kind of form it like a game. But I'm like, yo, let me buy stuff. Let me buy some stocks into things because this money is already here. It doesn't make sense to put it into my account, back into my account. So let me use this, and hopefully some other things can get out. Especially like my dad, he's good at it. I'm just asking him, who'd you do it with? Okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, he's getting money back, and I'm like, and I also like seeing someone get money back is different than people saying, "Oh, y'all, it's easy. All you got to do is this," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't know you." So yeah, like that, and so that's a part of like my research of like, all right, I have this capital, this small capital, but I have it. Let me use it into something. Let me put it into something since I have it.
Yeah, love it. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Okay, can you tell us where we can find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Outspoken Bean everything. Outspokenbean.com, Outspoken Bean, Google Outspoken Bean. They'll all pop up. There I am. I have come to a point of no return. Then I remember my promise in making me a customer to my service. I came with non-negotiable terms, targeted as a non-Walmart's policy that I can't nor won't return myself. When I left the shelf, the top one, I started life. These priceless times have been tagged on me. I have to remind myself to retell myself, not to discount me. I am the manager, on call and general. The answer to how I can help you is always found on the road with the mirrors. What's new in store has always been in store. The inventory has been barcoded and accounted for. My worth is my offer. That is my only offer. Attention shoppers, we have a steal of a deal. Here I am on or in the aisle. I am no longer waiting for intercoms to announce my calling.
Okay, can we segue into the bonus content with that?
Hey.
And I'm gonna stop streaming live on Facebook. Let's see the stop stream so that we can keep this for our Patreon contributors.
Yeah.
So tell us about that piece.
So that poem is called The Store Poem. I don't know how I got to it, but it means a lot to me. It's in my one-man show, but I wrote it before I had a one-man show that I was going to put it in. And it means a lot to me in the sense of like, one, I like the analogy that the main analogy obviously is like a store, right? But it's also just like a lot of affirmations for myself that I like to remind myself. And I don't normally write these kind of poems in the sense of like, go you. Yeah. You know what I mean? But this one, I did. I like that one. I liked it, and I feel good after I say it. And people usually feel good, and I want people to feel good. You know, I want people to feel good from my work. I want people to feel my work. Full stop. You know, but like feeling good is a good thing, because man, 2020 is making us feel a lot. You know, and so if I can add a feel good, that's cool.
Yeah. When did you start writing?
I started writing like when I was like 8 because of my late brother. He's the one he was the first person I ever saw rap that wasn't on TV. And he would cut my hair when we would go to New Orleans. He would cut my hair and stuff. And yeah, he would rap, and I was like, and then like, you know, I wouldn't talk because he's 15 years older than me, so I wouldn't talk to him or anything. And then when I would go into a bathroom as soon as no one was around, I would just mimic what he would do and stuff like that. Yeah. I did get a chance to tell him he was a reason why I started writing before he died, which I'm so happy I was able to do that. But yeah.
That's so, I love that. Like just barbershop, big brother, little brother, the scene.
Barbershop. It was his room, but yeah, barbershop.
Oh, his room. Okay, that's even better. That's even better. Like, have you written about this moment?
In so many ways, yeah.
In so many ways, okay, yeah. It's such a beautiful scene. It's like tangible.
It was dope. Yeah, he was a cool guy. He was a cool guy. He was hood. He was super hood. That was my boy, though.
Everybody got a little something in them.
Oh man, he had a lot. That nigga had a lot. He was, but he was dope. He was really dope. I miss him a lot. Talking to his sister, talking to his daughter reminds me of him a lot. For sure. Yeah, hands down. Easy. Yeah.
That's hilarious. As soon as she do something hood, you're like,
kind of. Yeah, kind of. And then it's also just like, oh, man, he would be annoyed by this. But but their logic is similar. The logic of how they see things, which is, again, I'm just like, yeah, you're definitely his daughter. No one would say it that way.
That's funny. I wrote this, I revisited a poem that I wrote, I don't know, probably must have been 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I don't write about love, and somebody was asking me to do this show and write a love poem, be a part of this show. And I finally agreed, and I hated the poem after it was done, and I circled back to it yesterday, and I was like, oh, this got some heat to it.
There we go. Hey,
This got some heat to it. This is pretty good.
Yeah, that's why I tell people don't throw away your shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, listen, so Watermill, I was at the Watermill residency. That very first residency I've ever done. It was a huge one. I was living in the Hampton, New York. It was a hard life. Living in the Hamptons, New York, all bills paid, all food paid for, artists from around the world.
So difficult.
And it was done with Robert Wilson. It was his compound, and he took a real liking to me because he had never had a poet. He had never had a poet on his grounds before, and so and I remember like we would just sit and watch him sometimes, like him designing a show and doing the set design and just like scribbling. It's a little presumptuous, but him scribbling and talking about the idea and like, nah, I don't want this one. And he would just give it to his assistant, and they wouldn't. He was like, yeah, I'm throwing this away, but he wouldn't crumble it. Kobe, he wouldn't do that. He would just give it to him. He's like in his 60s. He would just give it to his assistant, and they would put it in a folder, right? And I'm sitting there, and I interrupt, and now there's like people around, like we're allowed to like watch, but there's people around that are like putting money into this that he's talking to, right? So it's really like an intimate setting. And he's like, yeah, Bean, what's up? I was like, why aren't you throwing it away? And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, you said you're throwing it away, but you're just giving it to him. And he was like, I'll answer that question another time, right? And at that moment, I was a little annoyed, right? I was like, no, answer it now, right? Anyway. A month later, we're near the end, right? And I'm in his home office, and I'm like helping some other people like organize his space. And he comes in and he says to his assistant, I can't remember their names. Robert comes in and he's like, can you give me my my trash folder? And the assistant goes and gets a folder, like the same one he had, like a manila folder he had earlier before that he always would carry. And he was like, and then he would look through it, and he was like, what do you think of this one? And they're like, oh, I like it. He was like, all right, what kind of ink is that? He would say the ink, 0.8. He's like, all right, give me a 0.8. He'll sit down, he'll sign it, he would date it, right? And he was like, oh, did I see Bean in here? I was like, yeah, yes, sir. What's up? And he was like, Bean, remember when you asked me about the trash?
Mhm.
I was like, yeah. He was like, because it's treasure. Someone gave me how much money? And they're like, $25,000. And they want to thank you. This is a thank you, an original art piece. Put that in the mail, please. And I was like, I would never throw anything else away again.
Wow.
I would never throw away anything else again, ever. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I forget, but like intentionally throw it away, no, I would never do that again. Yo, don't let people get your trash.
Huh.
Don't let people, it's your trash. You gotta
I'll
do
be
a raccoon.
handwriting in notebooks, grid line notebooks.
Yeah, that's your trash. Don't let someone will make money off of your trash.
Or worse, no one will make money off of it.
Yeah, but then it's still yours though.
I mean,
right?
but
So there's nothing
if
lost.
I've tossed it, it's nobody's.
He tossed it. It's
Yeah.
nobody's.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, I'm not throwing this away. He was like, nah.
I didn't know that that's where the story was going to go. I thought you were going to say, and then he went back and found a great idea. And he's like, no, he knew it was trash, but it was treasure.
But it was treasure. He said, this isn't trash. This is my treasure.
Yeah. It wasn't an executable
Or to them,
idea.
that's what he said. To them, this is treasure. That's what he said. To them, this is treasure.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
Yeah. It doesn't have to go up on a set or into a book for it to be worth something.
He would sign it, like I said, he would use the same pen, everything.
Nice.
He's a very particular man, very peculiar. Yeah. He's like 78 now. He's like in his 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 68, man. Yeah. So
This was good, Bean. Thank you for your time.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Good luck with the
You
hustle.
catching me? You see me on
I know.
my Joe Exotic too.
You had a whole theme going on for the show. And you know what we're going to do? Upload it in December so nobody gets what's going on.
Yeah, this is right before Halloween.
We're going to cut this part out.
You a hater.
Why is he?
Yo, listen, my girl was like, you know what? I think you're going to wind up liking it. I'm like, nah. But, you know, she might know me a little bit better because I do like it. I do kind of like it. Hey.
The partners know. The partners know.
Yeah, she kind of know. Definitely. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Let's stop the recording.